Hey everyone, I'm Kirk. I'm going to show you how to make this week's cocktails. So I am unbelievably excited about these ones. Whereas 2 weeks ago I was refusing to lean into fall and did some late summer drinks as well, even though fall is upon us. This week I am fully embracing it and I have some very fun cocktails, both of which I've never made before. These are the first times and they're using some very interesting ingredients, I think. So I'll kind of show you how to do it. So we'll start with the shake and drink this week. So this week's shake and drink, the centerpiece of it is a butternut squash syrup. So I got some beautiful butternut squashes recently for my CSA over at Aluma Farms here in the West End. And I decided to cook some into a simple syrup. So it has this like beautiful orange color. I wanted to complement that with, ingredients that would showcase kind of a fall staple. So the base of the drink is Plantation 3-Star Rum. So this rum is a kind of the same producer as the Plantation Pineapple if you had drinks about 3-4 weeks ago. This is a blend of rums from the Caribbean, just a really, really high quality product, slightly overproof to give it a little bit more body. Obviously, there's some butternut squash syrup, fresh lemon juice. Again, I've said this a million times, because there is fresh juice in it, make sure you drink it within 72 hours. Then to complement it, so I thought about adding some cinnamon, fresh cinnamon, some fresh clove, some fresh nutmeg, those kind of things. And then I realized that I should just punch up the alcohol in it and go with some Amaro and some other liqueurs that would add some of that flavor. So we're going with some St. Elizabeth Allspice Dram. So this is an allspice liqueur that will add a lot of those fall flavors to the drink as well. And then finally, I used this ingredient about 4 months ago in the deliveries, Bekarovka. This is a Czech Amaro from the Czech Republic. And it is a very cinnamon heavy Amaro in there. And then finally, there's a couple dashes of Angostura bitters. So with this drink, like usual, get your cocktail shaker. It'll be the one that is a little bit more cloudy in color, and you'll pour half of that into a shaker. In this case, half is about 3.5 ounces if you want to measure it out, but those longtime observers will know that I never do. Shake it up. Said this before, it's very important that you actually shake it and not just pour it over ice in order to aerate the cocktail. So you can see basically in a shaken cocktail when you pour it out that it'll have this like white bubble foam on top, and that means that there's a lot of air in the drink, and that's what you want because it gives it a different texture on the palate and just makes it generally more pleasant. If you just pour it over ice, it'll be a little bit more on the syrupy, dense, thick, and it might taste a little bit sweeter than it actually is intended to taste. Your garnish this week on this cocktail will be some black pepper. It will not be in the garnish bags because I am just assuming that everyone has pepper mill, but you'll just do a little bit of black pepper on top, mostly for the aromatics, and that is the first butternut squash sour. The second cocktail is a drink that I wanted to do of just apples, and apples. So the base of it is bourbon. I'm using 2 kinds of bourbon. The first is my Four Roses Yellow Label that you've seen me use a whole bunch of times, but the new bourbon in this one is, or the other half is Elijah Craig's Small Batch. This used to have a 12-year age statement. It used to be one of the best values on the market. I still think it's an incredible value because it's overproof. It's 94 proof, which will give the cocktail a little bit more body than if I just use strictly 80 proof standard spirits in there. So it's a blend of 2 different bourbons. Then I'm adding to it some apple brandy. So this is Laird's apple brandy. It's bottled in bond, so it's 100 proof. Again, something that'll really pump up the ABV of this cocktail. It's sweetened with an apple cider reduction. So I took some fresh apple cider from North Georgia and reduced it by about a factor of 6 or 8 in order to just get pure apple cider sugar in there. And then finally, it's gonna be rounded out with some homemade apple bitters and a little bit of Amaro Chiacharo. So Amaro Chiacharo is a Italian after dinner digestive from, I wanna say the 1920s. And it is a kind of bitter orange or herbal liqueur. They don't really say what's in it. But it's just a way of going, balancing out the apple brandy, apple bitters, apple cider reduction to make it, add a little bitter element that I think is kind of nice. Two ways to make this one. So it'll come in the kind of more clear, darker colored jar. There'll be, again, 2 cocktails in this one. There might be a little bit of particulate in that. That's okay, that's normal. That's just from the process of reducing the apple cider. Some of the particulate will fall out of solution once it gets that small, or once it gets that reduced. So you could either pour it over ice and then stir it and then pour it over a big rock, or you can just pour it over a big rock. My preference is to stir it lightly before I pour it over a big rock. That way it just dilutes a little bit less. So this one will dilute fairly quickly just because of the proof of the spirits is a little bit higher in this one. So I won't go the full kind of 40 seconds that I've advised before, just enough to lightly chill it. And then I'll pour it over a big rock, but you can pour it over whatever you want. And it's basically just an old-fashioned variation with a whole bunch of apple in there. No garnish on this one. And those are the 2 cocktails. If you have any questions at all, as always, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to help. And then looking forward over the next 3 weeks, I'm looking at making cocktails 2 weeks from today, which would be the week of before Halloween, that Monday before Halloween. I'm also considering making cocktails for Halloween. So if you are hosting a small gathering or a socially distant party, we'll possibly have some Halloween cocktails. And then I'm also looking at making election night cocktails as well after that, with both standard cocktails as well as some Jello shots and some Canadian whiskey shooters as well. I apologize for my dog growling in the background. My girlfriend is playing tug of war with him. Anyway, let me know if you're interested in the Halloween and election night cocktails. I'm not sure. I'm kind of gauging interest. But otherwise, I really hope that you enjoy these cocktails. The Dead Rabbit ones from 2 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago got me really excited. These ones also have me really excited because they are some originals with some ingredients I've never used before. So thank you so much, as always. I sincerely hope that you enjoy these, and I hope that you're staying safe. Cheers.